feels real, doesn't it? The sand on your skin, the taste in your mouth. You are no longer death row inmates. You are contestants on the greatest game show in the world, the Jurassic Games.
This is the most controversial cast we've seen on the Jurassic Games in years.
Isn't this really nothing more than exploitation of these contestants? You are essentially torturing them on live television.
Public execution is nothing new.
My client maintains his innocence.
I'm not here to kill anybody.
I'm here to kill everybody.
I am not the judge.
I quit!
We are not the jury. But the game is the execution. Wait. Not yet. Not yet.
Come on!
3, 2, 1.
To start with, how did you get involved in the entertainment industry?
So I started acting when I was about 9 years old, and I just fell in love with it. So I started out, actually, I did a few commercials, and the minute I stepped on set, I was just like in love with the whole business, and I learned a lot about it actually through just like research, and then I spent a lot of time in LA through my middle school years, and so I got into it there, and I had an agent and a manager, and but yeah, that's pretty much where it started, was when I was 9, and I fell in love with acting, and I wanted to keep doing it. So a lot of research and a lot of experiences went into it. But yeah, that's pretty much where it all began.
What was that specific thing when you walked on set where you're like, wow, I have to be a part of this going forward for the rest of my career?
Right. So acting is actually a lot of hurry up and wait. So there's a lot of just kind of sitting around and waiting. But I think what it was, I don't know, it was just something about being able to kind of like immerse yourself into the character that you're given, and being able to just kind of use your imagination and your creativity and really run with that, but still be able to work with the director and the other actors as kind of like a collaborative effort.
Speaking of getting immersed in your character, Jurassic Games, I watched the screener on Sunday, and I was actually really blown away. Sometimes when you get screeners, you look at them and you're kind of like, okay, let's do this. Let's see, because it could go either way. And then I was like, wow, this is really, really good.
Oh, thank you.
Completely blew me away. I was not expecting that. I was expecting something totally different, and what I got was the Condemned with dinosaurs, and wow.
Right.
So
right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Your character Joy is terrifying. How did you get in the headspace to pull off that performance?
It was actually a lot of fun. So when Ryan first approached me about the role of Joy and the opportunity to participate in the film, I was really excited because she kind of offered a completely different, she's different from all of the characters that I've played, and she's psychotic, absolutely. And yeah, I thought it was exciting, and the challenge was exciting as well. And I knew that working with Ryan, it was going to be an amazing film. And so being able to work with him and talk through who Joy is as a person, as a character, and what her motives are throughout the film, it was definitely a lot of fun. And I was able to kind of throw in a little bit of that teenager attitude that she has, as well as her just being this crazy person. And I thought that was fun as well, that she's a psycho, but she's also just a kid.
Is there any redeeming anything about Joy, or is she just a villain through and through?
I think that at the point of where she was in the film, I think that there's really nothing there. I don't think there's any humanity kind of left in her. And I think that she's ruthless, and that is who she is as a person. That's kind of who she's become, is just this sort of monster. And I think that there are really no redeeming qualities, maybe other than her sense of humor.
The amount of physicality that's required for this film, was it like a source of like stress relief to be able to kind of just brawl and just get out that frustration of a day of filming? And like you said, a lot of hurry up and wait. Was there any kind of that stress relief?
There was, but okay, I had never had any training with combat or anything like that. I had never done that, and I really wasn't as in shape as I probably should have been. So it did present a lot of challenges, having to, run through a bunch of sand and having to basically kick people's butts throughout the whole film. But it did end up being kind of a stress relief. You get all of that kind of built up aggression out, and especially when I was able to like immerse myself into Joy as a person, she is very aggressive, and I think that in those scenes it was a lot of fun to be able to just kind of let go completely and just kind of have at it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Without giving away too much of Joy's character, because there is a twist in there, what is her backstory? What drove her to that point?
So it's never been made clear throughout the film exactly what her backstory is. I think that's kind of the fun that the audience gets to have, is what turns a girl, a young girl, into such a monster. And I think that it was a lot of fun to kind of speculate, especially me getting to play her, what occurred. And I think, honestly, part of it she was born with. I think that it's difficult for a completely normal person to just do a 180 and flip into who Joy became. But I definitely think that it was that it was kind of within her already. And a lot of things set her off, and I think that that's exactly what happened and how she came to be where she was, is she loses her temper very easily, and that's kind of what got her there in the first place.
How difficult in the climax of the film was it to act against the I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the creatures that you have to interact with? How difficult was that to do, especially doing that in the sand and in the heat?
Right. It was a challenge, definitely. And we had visual cues that the crew would set up tennis balls and we would be able to know where the creatures were kind of going to be after CGI. But it was also a lot of imagination and creativity. You, as an actor, we had to kind of imagine what we would be afraid of and be able to run with that and kind of imagine what exactly would be there in the end result. But it was a lot of fun to do, and working with Adam Hampton was incredible, as well as Ryan is he's a genius, and he's so talented at what he does. And being able to work with Ryan previously on Gremlin was actually helpful because he did a lot of CGI. He and his team did a lot of CGI for that. So I kind of got the feel for what it was like to work with things that weren't exactly there.
Working with Ryan, what is his directing style like? Does he give you a lot of freedom to explore your character, or is he very by the script?
He gives... What's amazing about working with Ryan is he respects that we all have our jobs on set, and his job obviously is director and writer, and then there are the other people on set, and he trusts them to do their jobs, including the actors. So we were able to consult with him freely, and if we had any opinions on what we thought our characters would do, then he would listen to those, and we would get his input. But there was a lot of freedom, and I think that's what made it so much fun, is that I could take the character and do with it what I thought would make it work best.
Going forward, would you like to revisit a character like this again?
I think I would. I think Joy is so different from who I am. Thank goodness, because I don't know what it would be like if I was anything like her. But it's a lot of fun. It's very different. It's a different experience, and so I definitely think that I would totally do another role similar to her in the future.
Were there any characters in that group that are in the Jurassic Games that you would have liked to have had more screen time with?
I really liked Kate's character, and I'm completely blanking on her name right now, but the other female contestant she is a great actress, first of all, and I thought that her character was also really interesting, and how she got to be on the games was interesting as well. And I think that more kind of tension between the two female characters would have been really interesting, and some more screen time. I think that would have been really fun to do.
Was there a bit of gratification with how these two characters finally did interact with their final interaction? Did you kind of I don't really know the word for it because I don't want to spoil it, but was it kind of just I guess gratifying would be the best word, when you have your final scene together and the one person meets a certain end? Was there kind of like a yeah kind of feel to it?
For me or for the character?
Let's say for your character, because that would be the really interesting thing to know. Did Joy really like finally getting to take care of that?
I think she did. I think that was just one more person that was out of the way, and she really got to show her dominance through that scene, and her aggressiveness as well. And so I think that was a lot of fun for her, was being able to kind of show what she's got and what she's capable of.
I know Joy is still pretty mysterious in the lore of the Jurassic Games, if we want to call it that. But why the motivation for doing what she did that put the other main character in the position that he's in? Was there any motivation for that, or was it just part of bringing it all together to have that ultimate showdown?
I think that part of it was bringing it all together, but I think it adds another element of kind of mystery to both of the characters, definitely. And I don't know, I think that I feel like it was a situation in which she didn't really think about, I don't think it was like a framing situation, if that makes sense, without giving too much away. But I think that's just how things worked out, and it worked out just fine for her. And to see Adam or Tucker in the games was just another joy for her. No pun intended.
It was just another life ruined, basically.
Right, pretty much. So I think she got a lot of pleasure out of seeing him there and knowing that it was because of her, basically.
Where can people see the Jurassic Games? I think it's coming out next month, but where will people be able to pick it up or see it?
So it's coming out on VOD, Video on Demand, June 12th, and then in July, I believe mid-July, it's coming out, I believe, in DVD.
Okay. And what's your next project that you have coming up?
So I'm actually getting ready to start filming on another project, and it's called Jade Black, and it's a spy action thriller. And I'm really thrilled to be working on it with Terry Spears. He's the writer and director, and he actually worked on the Jurassic Games. And that's how I came into contact with him. But I'm really excited about that, and I think we are expecting it to be wrapping up towards the end of the summer.
And with a release date for this year or for next year?
I am not sure about that yet.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Katie, thank you very much for taking time out of your day this afternoon to speak with us. And like I said, Jurassic Games, amazing surprise. I can't state that enough. Just
I'm so glad
wow.
to hear that. Thank you.
Great work. Your character just absolutely terrifying, believably terrifying. And I can't wait to see what else you have for us in the future. Thank you very much, Katie.
Get out of the way. Let's have some fun, shall we?